The Great War, through a London child's eye.
December 24th, 1914. Thank heavens for Christmas. There's been so much terrible news from the front. Tens of thousands have been killed. But even though the Boche have had a basin full, they simply won't back down. Father is working hard in France. He writes that he misses Mother and I so much, and is sad to be away for Christmas. Sidney had a day off from his telegram work, so he and I went up to Oxford Street for chestnuts. It was so good to see the old man.
Extra, extra. Campaign in Flanders. Germans shelled by British warships. Read all about...
It's nice to see the shops busy. I think people are glad to have something nice to think about. Have you heard from John?
Oh, my brother's always in the pink. He's already sent Mother a Christmas present. A card with fancy stitching, no less.
I didn't know John could sew.
Well, of course he can sew, you dunce. How do you think soldiers sew their buttons back on, post their tunics back home to their mothers, and sit shivering whilst they wait?
I suppose not.
Anyway, this wasn't just normal stitching, it was fancy. Broidery, Mother called it. She did not know what to make of it, until the woman at church said she'd had one just the same. French girls sell them to the troops, you see. It has pride and place on the mantle now.
Have you sent John a parcel? We sent Father a leather notebook and a pocket knife. Mother's work meant she could afford a very handsome one. I can't wait to hear what he thought of it.
Mother's knitted Father and John so many scarves they'll look like snowmen, and sent as much food as she can cram in the parcel. They'll get that box from Princess Mary too. You know she's sending a tin with tobacco and chocolate to every single Tommy on the front.
Yes, it's a fine idea. It will certainly lift their spirits. At home, Mother and I decorated the parlour. Even though we are going to Grandmother's house for Christmas Day, she is sending her driver in the motor this evening, which is a Christmas treat in itself. We even have a real Christmas tree. Mother's had the gramophone going, and we are all feeling very festive.
Those paper chains look lovely, darling. You've made quite enough to string along the whole street.
Should I save some for Grandmother?
I don't think they're to her taste, but they do look lovely with the mistletoe and the greenery, and our pretty little tree. I know it's an extravagance, Edward, but I couldn't resist. See how lovely it looks with the sweets and decorations. I'm sure it will look like a weed next to Grandmother's tree, though. Last year it was quite the size of St. Paul's Cathedral.
I can't wait. I'm so hungry I could eat a Christmas tree.
Yes, there's been a lot less food in the shops, but I don't expect that has affected your grandmother's kitchen. She told me in her letter that no less than 10 of her grand friends will be there. You shall have to be on your best behaviour, Edward. You'll be permitted to sit with the adults, I expect, but remember...
Seen and not heard. Yes, Mother. I shall be too busy polishing off the barons of beef, mince pies, plum pudding, fruit and nuts.
Who could that be? Carol singers, perhaps?
It wasn't carol singers. It was Sidney. He had terrible news. His brother is dead. The telegram had just arrived. Sidney said that he was very sorry, but Mrs. Parry would not be able to work today. Mother tried to hug Sidney, but he just said his brother was a hero, and then he left. Sidney! Sidney! He didn't wait for me. He was on his bicycle and cycling off, fast as fire, never once looking around, even though I shouted myself hoarse. He didn't head back towards his home. I knew where he was heading. He would be hammering every regiment in London now to get to France somehow and get his revenge on the Germans. It was cold outside, and I had gone out without a coat. I shivered. I felt as if it was Sidney who had gone for good, not his brother.
Come in, darling. Edward!
I went back into the warm to the paper chains, the presents and the tree. All Mother and I could think of was Sidney, and Mrs. Parry and poor John. Poor John. Christmas morning, 1914. Despite the sad news, Mother and I resolved to make the best of it. We had much to be thankful for. We said prayers for John at church and lit candles for him, and Daddy, and Mr. Parry, and, well, everyone. Later, Mother surprised me with the most wonderful present. Father's fishing rod. He had given permission to make it mine. Isn't that spectacular? It made me smile and think of Daddy, and of us at St. James's Park, trying to land a catch in the summer. Back then, I think knowing his rod would be mine would have made me the happiest boy on earth. Now, well, just knowing he is safe and sound will be the only thing to make me feel like that. I better sign off. The gong has run for dinner, and even King George would not keep grandmother waiting.
The Great War, through a London child's eye, supported by the National Lottery through the Heritage Lottery Fund.